So I'm going to talk about successful and unsuccessful depth record dives. Unsuccessful means you die. So it's not like off measures, you're off bent, a little bit bent, but you're still alive. That's successful. If you die, that's it, end of the line. So what I want to talk about is the first bell dives, open bell and closed bell, saturation dives as well. But only the early ones, and from there on we proceed to, there's the list of the successful dives, according to me. Some are world records, others are Guinness records, others are depth records for lake, cave, wreck, and sea. If you have a Guinness record, it's the deepest no matter what. If you've got a cave record, it's the deepest cave dive. If you've got a sea record, it's the deepest sea dive. There's no distinction between rebreather and open circuit. It's the same. The one important factor that comes into play, as far as I'm concerned, is your choice of bottom gas. So there's not a lot of latitude in terms of the choice if you're using your brain, but that bottom gas is going to determine your ability to deal with an emergency. I'm only considering 3 factors: partial pressure of oxygen, E&D, which is the nitrogen narcosis, and T&D. I don't know if you're all aware of what T&D is, but it's a term that I've coined myself. What it means is the equivalent air density. In other words, if you were diving on air, what would be the density of that gas once you reach your deepest point? So I consider it excessive if you have more than 1.4 partial pressure of oxygen, and that's conservative. I know probably I should have gone for 1.6, because when you do a record dive, you're going to break rules. The E&D, normally people look at 30 meters. I've set it at 50 meters. And the T&D, which is the gas density in terms of air, I set it at 70 meters. Obviously, different divers cope differently with different gases. But I thought at the level where you've already done 240 meters plus and you've survived, you're probably going to be able to cope with those factors. So as you can see, there are 27 successful dives. And we'll start with number 1, on a scala. We went back to 1962, 300-meter dive. As you can see, all the factors are good. You can see the E&D is 0. But obviously, you're going to have some impairment at that depth, even if there's no nitrogen. So the T&D comes out at 56 meters, which is reasonable, but the partial pressure of oxygen at 2.48 is quite high. Nevertheless, he survived. Number 2, Shaq Exley, at 263 meters, cave dive, E&D 79, that's quite high for anyone. T&D 104, that's also very high. And the partial pressure of oxygen is a bit on the high side. Anyway, he survived this dive, so for him it was good. Number 3 is Jim Bowden. My friend Jim Bowden, I haven't dived with him for a while. 281.9. The E&D is quite high, the T&D is quite high, and the partial pressure of oxygen is also quite high. Nevertheless, he survived. Number 4, Claudio Serpieri. This is a depth record in the sea, or was at the time. 211 meters, END 34, good. TND 77, a little bit high. Partial pressure of oxygen, very good. She survived. Here's the king of all dives, Theo Masvronos. 701 meters. This is it's never been equaled, or even nobody has ever come close to it. The factors all look good, except for the TND, which is a little bit on the high side, but for a man of his talents, that was not much. Number 6, myself, cave dive, 282.6, END 63, that's a little bit on the high side. TND 93, also high, and the partial of oxygen, good. No problem. Number 7, John Bennett, the late John Bennett. He survived this dive, but he would die later on a much shallower dive. 307 meters, END 38, TND 77, a little bit high. Partial pressure of oxygen 1.27, that's good. Number 8, Werner van Skyke. This is a Guinness record, 221. END 42, good. TND a little bit high. Partial pressure of oxygen also a little bit high. Number 9, Dave Shaw. This is the dive that he survived. It doesn't mean that if you survive on the one dive, and if you repeat the same dive, that you're going to live. So his factors look pretty good, but his TND 71, which is a little bit on the high side, and provided you don't have any emergencies, you can cope with it. But when a little emergency arises and you have to try and cope with it, that's when everything goes wrong. Number 10, that's myself, trying to go for the world record and nearly killing myself. Nevertheless, it was a record in the Red Sea. END good, TND a little bit high, and partial pressure of oxygen good. Number 11, myself again, 318 meters, END 39, TND 77, and PO2 103. So only the TND was a little bit high, but I can tell you that the general impairment that I had at that depth definitely exceeded the 77 meters. Because the TND doesn't take into consideration high pressure nervous syndrome. It tries to in some way, but it doesn't really cope with it. Number 12, this was a local, but quite a good record dive, 239. END good, TND quite high, and partial pressure of oxygen was quite good. Number 13, this is the current wreck diving record still. Was done in a lake, 236, Pim, Mario, and Alexandro. I was actually there at the dive site, and all the factors look very good. 2 of the divers got bent, but other than that, everything was good. Number 14, Dariusz Wolomski. Sorry for the pronunciation. 264, it was a lake record. All the factors look good. He lived, so all good. Number 15, Will Goodman, 290. That at the time was the deepest rebreather dive in the sea. All the factors are good. The TND is definitely on the high side. And for a rebreather dive, that's more of a problem than for an open circuit dive. But he had problems, but he's still around, so no problem. And number 16, Michel Giriaki, 2:53. He was going for the world record in the sea. He turned around wisely, obviously, didn't feel that he could proceed further. All these factors are looking good, END, TND, and partial pressure. They're very safe, ultra safe. He may have suffered probably from high pressure nervous syndrome, because you can see he's got a lot of helium in it. Number 17, Luca Pedrali. This was a lake record from Italy. 390 is a good blend, quite high on helium. All the factors are very safe. I don't have any negative comments from him, so the dive went well. I don't think he wants to go deeper though. Number 18, Sebastian Marczewski. He went 241. This was a preparation dive for a world record dive. He didn't go further than this, and all the factors look good. He survived, no issues. Number 19, Krzysztof Sarnacki, the big man. 303 meters, lake dive, trimix 490, END, TND, and partial pressure of oxygen all look good. He's got a special technique to cope with high pressure nervous syndrome. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Ask some of his friends. Number 20, Jarek Macedonski, 316 meters. As far as I know, this is still the world record for the deepest lake dive. So all these factors are good. He wanted to beat the world record, but I don't think he found enough depth to do it. So he turned around because he was out of time. He would try again. Remember, this was a major dive. Number 21 is here. Xavier Meniscus, 286.2 meters. This is a world record. He beat my world record. END, TND, and partial pressure of oxygen all look good. I'm sure it wasn't easy, but deep divers never tell you what really happened. They may give you a little bit of a hint, but it's harder than what they tell you. Number 22, 236, Karen Vandenhoven, world record, cave dive, and generally Guinness World Record dive. All the factors look very safe. Partial pressure of oxygen is slightly on the high side, but she's alive, she's here, she likes it. and she was not happy. She went on and decided to break her own world record, 246 meters, cave dive, Guinness record, the whole thing. The factors are all very safe. Number 24, 277.4. He was going for the world record for cave diving. Ang Ting, all the factors look pretty good, and he was just short of the world record. He would try again. Number 25, Frederick Schwerzinski. That was a world record for cave diving. Unfortunately, it was beaten in not too the near future by yours truly, Mr. Xavier. His factors look very good. I know that he had some problems, but he survived and is good. Number 26, the current world record for cave diving by Xavier Meniscus, 312 meters. The factors all look good. The TND is 73.58. So from my kind of calculations, there's a little bit, the density is a little bit heavy for this depth, but there's not much you can do. You're running out of options. You got to have some oxygen, you got to have some helium. So that's it. Easier. And number 27 is a very late inclusion. It's the new record for sea by a woman. Gayle Gietzen, 222 meters, on a rebreather, everything looks very good. She hasn't made anyone aware that it's a problem. So we've got successful dives, open circuit 15, rebreather 10, saturation chamber 1, and bounce 1. We come to the unsuccessful dives. We've got 13. Number 1, which had to be included, in 1945, 160 meters was really deep. And especially when you did it on hydrox, oxygen and hydrogen. The factors are absolutely safe. But his decompression schedule was quite out. I've recalculated this dive. I've got tables for hydrox. And it was probably an hour or hour and a half short of the proper decompression. Nevertheless, he proved that it's possible to dive on hydrox. Number 2, together with Anna Skella, there was a guy called Peter Small, and there was another a surface support called Chris Whittaker. They both died while Anna Skella survived. And the very sad thing, whilst we can see the partial pressure of oxygen was quite high, everything else looked fine. The sad thing is his wife committed suicide because the husband had died. So that was a triple tragedy. 1 diver survived and 3 people died from it. This was a saturation dive, habitat on the bottom of the sea at 186 meters. All the factors look good. Trimix good, END 0, TND 25, partial pressure of oxygen 0.29. You need those kind of partial pressures for saturation. But there was equipment failure and he died. He came out of the habitat on a rebreather and something went wrong and he died. That's the official story, but there's a longer story to it. Number 4, Shaq Exley. He was trying to beat his world record. He was going for 1,000 foot. You can see his END was high. His TND was extremely high. His partial pressure was also extremely high. The official story is that he got high pressure nervous syndrome and he became entangled in the rope and didn't surface. But with a TND of 122 and END of 93, it's going to be extremely hard to solve any problems, however minor they may be. Dave Shaw, it's exactly the same situation. He repeated the dive. As you can see, the only thing that's a little bit high is this TND at 71. And for those that saw the video, he got a loop around his light. He couldn't solve the problem, and he died. That's basically, that was it. So TND of 71, when there's an emergency and you cannot sort out the problem real quick, it's a problem. Number 6, Brigitte Lenoir. She was trying to break the world record for women. The factors look good except for oxygen, partial pressure, a little bit high. On the way up, she lost consciousness. There was a safety diver, but the safety diver couldn't help her, and she sank to the bottom, and the ROV picked up her body. Here's the big deal. I mean, this guy was really trying to go for it. His previous deepest dive was 240 meters. So he decided just to increase to 365. And the factors look good, accepted TND. He didn't make it, and his body was recovered by ROV. Number 8, Theodora Balanov, 233. She got to the world record depth. On the way up, she got isobaric counter-diffusion or inner ear decompression. She lost it and drowned and died. Her husband was with her, couldn't help her. Number 9, Wroclaw Lejo, 275. Everything looks good, but the equipment must have malfunctioned because he didn't come back. His body was recovered by ROV. Adam Paulik, 320 meters, that's what he wanted to do. All the factors look good. Also, he must have had some equipment malfunction. He didn't surface, the ROV picked up his body. And we're just about there. Number 11, Sebastian Maszerski. He got to 333 meters. All the factors look good. On the way up, he got entangled in the rope. He couldn't extricate himself due to whatever reasons, and he died. His body was picked up by ROV. Number 12, Jarek Macedonski. He'd done virtually this dive before. This time, as he started the dive, when he got to the set of deco bottles that he would use later, something happened, equipment malfunction, or maybe some medical emergency. He died, and nobody knew that he had died. He was shallow, like 20 meters, until he was found later because he hadn't surfaced. Number 13, the last diver, Ang Ting, 290 meters. He didn't make it. He was setting up for the dive. He got stuck at 100 meters. Nobody could find him. They sent the ROV to get his body. So unsuccessful dives, we got 5 open circuit, 5 rebreather dives, 1 set chamber dive, and 2 bounce dives, bell bounce dives. So what are the probabilities of success? Out of this 40 divers, we got about a 67% chance of survival at best, and a 33% chance of not surviving. Thank you.